CTV News with Jack Morse.
An important safety reminder as National Drowning Prevention Week begins. The heat of summer is in full swing, and our regions become Ontario's playground, but that's not without some risk, and in some cases, it's fatal. CTV's Rob Cooper joins us live tonight with more on a recent drowning in Muskoka. Rob.
Well, Jack, it can happen in an instant. 1 minute you're enjoying the vast number of bodies of water throughout our region, and the next, the body is being pulled from the lake. Another busy day at area beaches as thousands of people flock to local water spots to beat the summer heat. A sad start to National Drowning Prevention Week after a 63-year-old man from Markham drowned after falling into Lake Muskoka near Walker's Point in the township of Muskoka Lakes on Saturday. Police say the man's body was recovered by its underwater search and recovery unit. Police are not saying much more at this point as its investigation continues. However, OPP say so far this year, 100% of drowning victims in Ontario have been men over the age of 25.
Drownings can happen in mere moments, and they are often silent.
The Life-Saving Society of Ontario says statistically more than 90% of drownings involving boaters are by people not wearing life jackets.
We need you to be actively supervising children and even the other adults that you're with. You always want to swim with someone else. Most drownings are occurring when people are alone. People at Centennial Beach in Barrie today say they know the risk and don't take any chances themselves, and especially with their young kids. Local lifeguards are pleading with people of all ages to make sure they are reducing unnecessary risks near the water.
Here we really like to encourage parents to stay and remain within arm's reach for all children and adults, especially if they're not comfortable on or around the water.
All right, so that's the key message from experts for everyone tonight. Don't take any chances near the water, even if you think you are an experienced swimmer. By the way, police telling me today 75% of the fatalities involving boaters this year involve boaters not wearing life jackets at all. Reporting live in Barrie, I'm Rob Cooper, sending it back to Jack in the newsroom.
Thank you, Rob. As communities in northwestern Ontario continue to burn in the ongoing wildfires, our region is welcoming several groups of evacuees. ISN Masqua in Barrie has more than 100 people from First Nations north of Thunder Bay forced to evacuate by flames and smoke. It hosted hundreds here during last year's wildfire season. Several more flights with evacuees are expected to land at Lake Simcoe Regional Airport in the coming days. Now, smoke has mostly cleared in the GTA, but wildfires continue to burn in northern Ontario. The Premier gave us an update this morning on how the province is dealing with the situation. CTV's John Musselman has those details.
13 communities have been forced to evacuate, displacing 1,800 people as these fires in northwestern Ontario continue to burn. Nearly 200 fires are burning. Of those, 57 are said to be out of control. Today, Premier Doug Ford held an update on the situation.
We have 155 fire crews and approximately 80 water bombers and helicopters remain in operation across the north, with roughly 40 additional support aircraft ready to assist.
Ford was joined at today's update in Toronto by Jill Dunlop, the Minister of Emergency Preparedness, and Mike Harris, the Minister of Natural Resources.
You know, we talk about sort of 155, 156 crews. Just to put that into context, that's well over 700 people. So there's usually about 4 to 5 people on a crew. So it seems like a bit of a small number, but we're talking about almost 1,000 fire rangers. These are the folks who actually get out there and are on the front lines running hose through the bush, fighting those fires.
A number of host cities, including Thunder Bay, Sudbury, Barrie, Toronto, and Niagara Falls, are offering temporary accommodations for people displaced by the wildfires. And relief organizations are on the scene offering assistance in Northern Ontario.
Global Medic, we delivered actually N95 masks to Thunder Bay when we were up last week. They're doing hygiene kits. Red Cross is setting up the evacuation center for us in Thunder Bay. That's for communities like Collins First Nation and Armstrong, who are unincorporated communities, so they have a place to go as well.
The smoke from the Ontario wildfires drifted south last week, turning the sky orange in the GTA and southern Ontario. At one point, our air quality was ranked as one of the worst in the world. Rain and shifting winds have improved the situation, but the wildfires continue to burn. The Premier says the province will spend whatever is needed to fight these fires. The Premier went on to say that this seems to be happening every single year, and he wants to sit down with Prime Minister Mark Carney and discuss a national firefighting strategy. John Musselman, CTV News.
Wildfire danger advisories across our region lessened over the weekend. Many of them are still in the orange. Here's a look at where they stand tonight. The ratings are high in most of Simcoe County, extreme in Beausoleil First Nation. Up in Muskoka, the rating dropped too high from extreme. Well, that's where it was last week. In Barrie, Midland and Orillia, it remains moderate. Now, just moments ago, U.S. President Donald Trump announced he's imposing more tariffs on our country. The White House says Trump signed 3 proclamations to impose an additional 50% in tariffs on certain goods from Canada. They say it's in response to, quote, Canada's discriminatory treatment of American exports on cars, alcohol and dairy. So those products covered everything from wine to hockey sticks to cement. The White House says the tariffs apply whether or not the good is covered under CUSMA, and they'll take effect in 30 days. Now here's Luke Samard with our first look at weather. Hey, Luke.
Hey, Jack. We are here in downtown Barrie, where we saw a fairly sunny day today, but those clouds have started to increase. Now, that hasn't stopped people from making their way down to Centennial Beach. There's lots of barbecues running here for dinner time, as well as people catching those last little rays of sunshine before the clouds do take over. Now, let's go and take our first look at weather, brought to you by the graveldrivewayguide.com, your local gravel driveway expert. It is about 24 degrees outside right now, so a little bit cooler than what we saw for around our high, just over 24 degrees and into 25. But it's those winds that have really started to pick up from the southwest. We're going to continue to see those winds pick up as well through the night. Here's a look at your temperatures right through the region right now. 24 degrees in Owen Sound and Mount Forest. You're seeing 23 in Perry Sound as well as Orillia. 24 in Gravenhurst, 21 in Algonquin Park. You're seeing about 22 in Newmarket, and 27 is your high in Toronto. So a fairly nice afternoon after that heat that we saw last week. A quick look at the radar and satellites, and is making our way into the Tees, Jack. Yes, we do have a system making its way in, so if you do plan on going out tonight, feel free to do so, but it's going to be tomorrow that you might need those umbrellas.
All right, thank you, Luke. We'll come back to you a little bit later in the show. The OPP is investigating 2 fatal crashes involving motorcycles in our region over the weekend. On Friday evening in Dufferin, officers were called to a collision between a car and a motorcycle on County Road 18, just north of Mansfield. Police say the 71-year-old motorcyclist from Hamilton was pronounced dead, the driver of the other vehicle not injured. On Saturday evening in Wasaga Beach, police called to a single vehicle motorcycle crash on Beechwood Road. A 40-year-old rider from Wasaga Beach was pronounced dead at the scene. And emergency crews also responded to a crash between a motorcycle and a pickup truck in Midhurst yesterday. Police say the motorcyclist was hospitalized. County Road 27 was fully closed between Horseshoe Valley Road and Highway 26. The area reopened that evening around 5 o'clock. The accused took the stand in a Newmarket courtroom today, arguing the murder she's on trial for was an act of self-defense. CTV's Mike Arcelidis reports, but first a warning. This story contains details of intimate partner violence some viewers may find disturbing.
Accused of murdering her former boyfriend, Mackenzie Gill took the witness stand today, telling the court she was the victim of physical and verbal abuse by Blake Bibby, the man she stabbed in the heart 2 years ago inside his Newmarket apartment. Gill said they had both been drinking, arguing about seeing other people. Gill said Bibby was taunting her about a woman he'd been with. She described her own behavior as angry and at her limit, saying Bibby was being nasty and shaming her. Later that night, Gill said she was leaving, and he shoved her to the ground, saying she thought he was going to strangle her. Gill testified she stood up in the kitchen area, fearing for her safety, and grabbed a knife. She said Bibby continued towards her, and she swung the knife at him, saying as soon as she stabbed him with the knife, she pulled it out. I thought he was going to kill me. It was my intention to scare him and let me leave, saying she was only trying to defend herself. Gill said she dropped the knife and ran for her purse. She said Bibby later stood up after she left the apartment, followed by their dogs. Gill said she returned the dogs to the apartment and found Bibby on the ground bleeding before calling 911, saying she grabbed a sheet to stop him from bleeding.
Tell me what happened.
I think he got into a fight.
Is his breathing okay?
No, it's not okay.
Can you describe the breathing for me?
It's very bad, and there's a lot of blood.
A lot of blood. Okay, so the ambulance started. Okay. Is the assailant there the person that he got in a fight with, or you don't know where they are?
No.
After the initial call to 911 dropped, a dispatcher called the number back, asking the woman to provide her name and information.
He just told me he was very hurt.
Okay. And what's your first name?
Amelia.
Amelia? How do you spell that?
Amelia.
And your last name, Amelia?
Shill, Shill.
Gill admitted she made up the name in a panic. I didn't want any of this, she told the court, saying she fled the scene and hid in an alleyway. I was terrified that I wasn't going to be believed, that it was self-defense. Gill described a history of violence between them, saying she'd been choked by Bibby on at least 5 occasions. Gill said Bibby demeaned and threatened her over the course of their volatile 2-year on-again, off-again relationship that was marred by alcohol-fueled arguments and violence that ended the night Bibby died. Gill said Bibby often yelled and threatened her and said he'd harm himself. Bibby was found with several injuries, including a stab wound to his shoulder a year prior to his death. Gill is scheduled to continue her testimony tomorrow. Mike Arsledy, CTV News, Newmarket.
Police are warning a federal offender on a Canada-wide warrant could be in our region after police say he broke his release conditions. 29-year-old Evan Haney is serving a 2-year, 3-month sentence for 9 counts, including break-and-enter, theft, and assault. Police say he's known to frequent Midland and Kitchener. He's described as 5'10", 190 pounds, an Indigenous man with brown hair, hazel eyes, and multiple tattoos. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact police. Now, Barrie police arrested a naked man on the beach this weekend. On Saturday around 3 in the afternoon, police say they were called to Centennial Beach for reports of a man without any clothes on. The suspect, a 43-year-old from Barrie, was charged with committing an indecent act and indecent exposure to a person under 16. The OPP are announcing another arrest in Wasaga Beach in a fire 4 months ago. It happened late in March at a home on Mosley Street near Beach Area 3. Officials say no one was inside at the time. The building was a total loss, estimated $150,000. A 50-year-old from Markham was charged last month. Police say a 38-year-old from Markham has been charged with arson. The accused scheduled for a court date next month in Collingwood. Roadwork continues to slow traffic around Barrie as city crews resurface 18 kilometers of city streets. More than 20 are listed for maintenance, part of the city's yearly pavement work. It involves repairing cracking, rutting, and general breakdown of the road surface. The city says getting ahead of it will make roads last longer and stop them from needing major work as often. The full list of roads under construction is on our website. Down in Bradford, County Road 4 widening is moving along. The county says it'll finish phase 1 within days, reopening all 4 lanes to traffic, saying it'll make the road safer with new signals, turn lanes, and a multi-use trail with better drainage. Phase 2 is expected to begin shortly after, north of Line 10 all the way up to Line 13. Some of the best amateur female golfers in our region were in Innisfil today trying to qualify for a national event. The PGA Scramble Regional Qualifier was at National Pines this afternoon. The tournament features 10 teams of 4, 180 qualifiers being held across the country.
It's really exciting. The ladies are really excited to be here. There's not too many amateur events that really showcase their abilities. This is a very special event for us to be able to host here. There's only a few local qualifiers out there, and we are the only ladies-only one, which I think kind of separates us from the rest of the clubs out there. So we're really excited to be able to host this.
The winner today will move on to the regional final at TPC Toronto, and if they win that, they'll head to Cabot Links Golf Course in Nova Scotia in the fall. Still to come, finding places for northern pups right here in our region. How a local group is getting pets out of Thunder Bay to make room for those displaced by wildfires. Plus, a multicultural festival on the waterfront celebrating all the flavors of our region. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Presented by Paul Sadlin Motors.
Music, it's a small community, so when something's really good, we all want to be part of it. We have an amazing music scene here. Having people come together in community, listen to some amazing local artists, brings the downtown alive. It brings our city alive.
Troubadour Festival 2026 is going to be off the hook. We've got the Watchmen, Bahamas, going to be great.
Welcome back. Barks and yelps, the sounds of pups as the BARC bus pulled into Barrie Saturday. Rescue organizations in Simcoe County getting ready to take in 111 animals surrendered to Northern Reach Network in Thunder Bay.
The BARC bus is going to arrive. There'll probably be a lot of barking, a lot of crying, excitement of the dogs coming off. We've got a lot of volunteers here today that are going to be the hands-on, taking those dogs off.
It's, well, this particular event hits a bit close to home. I have family up in the north who have evacuated on their own, but doing something meaningful for animals that don't have options, that animals don't speak for themselves.
Guys, these dogs are hot.
The more rescues that work together, the more dogs that we can help, but also we can advocate for what is happening in these communities. Getting the help up there, bringing them down is just a Band-Aid, but bringing awareness to, people in the south, like overpopulation of dogs. We need to get vets up there.
The animals needing to move out of shelters and foster homes in the northwest to make room for animals displaced by wildfires in that part of the province. Volunteers spent the afternoon at Lost Boys Hope Rescue, taking the pets from there to rescues and shelters across our region. Barrie's waterfront came alive with a fusion of culture, bringing together all walks of life for music, food, art, and of course dance at the first ever Barrie Fusion Fest.
You can see the diversity that we were looking for, it's there. And also the fact that everybody's happy to see that they are here, they're learning about, other cultures. It's something very special to my heart.
It's like, get back to Barrie, just have a nice fun day for our community.
We came for the dancing. Yeah, my wife's off dancing right now, so.
Do you dance too?
No, not as good as her.
Personally, me, I'm autistic and I have anxiety as well, so that puts a lot of pressure and a lot of difficulties in my life. So I wanted the whole autism community and the anxiety community to know that they're not alone, and I wanted to make products that will help them feel more calm, like the sense of smell, the texture, that can also help them as well.
Food and craft vendors featured products from all around the world, including Portugal, Australia, Africa, Latin America, India, Haiti, and Jamaica, as well as some Canadian. Organizers say they're already looking forward to next year's festival. It's a local pop-up market supporting local charities and local small businesses. Beyond Giving hosted their curated collective market in the halls of Barrie's Georgian Bay Mall. Featuring mostly women entrepreneurs offering everything from fashion to jewelry to art.
I like that they're able to come and see me here in Barrie at the Georgian Mall, because they get to see everything that I do instead of just online and seeing pictures and videos. It's different when you see it in real. And yeah, it's just getting my name out there.
The impact through Beyond Giving, be it the charity organizations, be it the local small businesses, be it the women who are just looking to become the better version of themselves in their daily lives. Beyond Giving is bringing them together like a community.
The nonprofit Beyond Giving raises money for a different charity every month. This time, the Child and Youth Advocacy Center, Simcoe Muskoka. Bagpipes, drums, and Celtic culture in the air at Legion Branch 34 this weekend for the annual Aurelia Scottish Festival. Although it had to be moved indoors because of poor air quality outside, the festival still featured performances by dance and piping groups from near and far. The weekend wrapped up with a watch party for the World Cup yesterday afternoon. For information on all our local events, along with other stories, you can go to our website. That's where you can watch our news live online and find all our local stories and breaking news as it happens. Just head to ctvnews.ca/Barrie or scan that QR code on your screen right now. Now we're less than a week away from night 2 of the 2026 Troubadour Festival Summer Concert Series. Before the Watchmen headline Saturday evening at Meridian Place, a group of acts from our region and Southern Ontario will warm up the stage for them. Here's CTV's Luke Simard with a preview of the local show opener.
The Roadhammers rocked Meridian Stage in June for the beginning of the Paul Sadlin Troubadour Summer Concert Series. And if you missed it, you should circle July 25th on your calendar as iconic Canadian rock and roll band The Watchmen are coming to town. Today, 3 artists were announced and are prepared to hit the stage ahead of The Watchmen. The local opener showcase gives some of the best emerging artists from across Ontario the chance to be treated like rock stars and perform in front of thousands of fans. After spending more than a decade in the country music scene, Nix Ironstone traded in the cowgirl hat for a steel guitar. The alternative rock, goth pop, and cinematic storytelling will be front and center in Barrie's downtown core.
You're going to get a rockin' show. It's kind of a little bit of, Evanescence meets Paramore meets The Pretty Reckless. So very female-fronted, female power, and I'm so excited to rock with Barrie.
I'll be burning all up.
Noise Hotel, a GTA-based indie rock quartet, was also selected. Lead singer Eric Montpool was going through old CDs when he checked his emails telling him his band was selected.
We got in the email that it would be the day for the Watchmen, and I was actually going through CDs in my basement, and my parents have like 3 Watchmen CDs. So I go and I call my mom, like, hey, we're opening for the Watchmen. This is gonna be cool. And she's like, no way. So I don't know. I was really, really happy.
Siobhan Bodrug is an indie pop artist ready to add her style to the music scene in Barrie, comparing herself to an iconic Canadian musician.
I like to say if Billie Eilish and Alanis Morissette had a baby. I'm a very emotional lyricist, and I have a lot of energy, and my band and I, we just try to put on the best, most energy kind of show for every single show, no matter what the stakes are.
More than 100 applicants were received for the local opener showcase, putting judges to the test.
So much local talent here, there's no shortage of it. So though they did make it tough for us, we did finally come to a decision. And seeing this as the Watchmen, we kind of kept rock in mind when we were thinking of acts for this show.
The Troubadour Summer Concert Series is set to take place right here at Meridian Stage, where CTV News Barrie's own Sarah Freemark will host on July 25th. The 3 local openers will hype up the crowd before Stuck on Planet Earth takes the stage, leading to the Watchmen. Luke Simard, CTV News, Barrie.
Still to come, we're no strangers to wildfire in this province, but if the smoke seems to be getting more intense, well, you might be right. But first, let's check in with Luke.
Well, Jack, we saw the cool down over the weekend. How long will it last? And is there rain on the way? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned to find out. But first, let's go and take a look at our weather watcher, Andy. Andy, yes, the flowers, a little bit of rain, a little bit of sun. That's been July for us. You're right on point. Thank you so much for the pictures. Stay with us. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Hi, we're Martin and Steph
from Bounce 104.1.
And this week on the show, we're giving away tickets to Return to Grace, an electrifying show about the King of Rock, Elvis.
So make sure you're listening Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 10 for your chance to win.
Picture this, brought to you by Bounce 104.1 and Pure Country 106.
All right, this week on Picture This, we're continuing with how your pets are enjoying the sun. Show us photos of your four-legged or two-legged or even your feathered friends. Your two-legged feathered friends are the best ones. Having fun. Now snap a pic and send it in to Picture This at ctv.ca for a chance to be featured. And I know you can't see out there, but there were some wiener dogs. I've got a soft spot for wiener dogs. While I was still on PEI, I went to Wiener Palooza, huge wiener dog festival. What do you think about wiener dogs, Luke?
Well, my brother has two of them, so I am a part of the wiener dog family. Jack, the picture of the week, my dog Theo just learned how to swim about 2 weeks ago, and now he doesn't want to come out of the water ever. So keep sending the pictures. We love to see them. Maybe you're going for a walk downtown Barrie tonight. That's where we are here outside Centennial Beach, and we've seen lots of dogs just taking a quick dip in the water. It's kind of cool out, a lot cooler than what we saw last week, of course, and that's going to continue at least for the next few days, as well as some rain. Yes, I said the word rain. Let's go take a look at our temperatures first, though. With those humidex, it's a few degrees warmer out there. We're seeing some overcast skies outside in Barrie right now as well. Feels like 27 degrees, of course, in Barrie, and Orillia, 24 degrees in Gravenhurst. It feels like about a degree warmer. 23 in Parry Sound, 21 in Algonquin Park, 24 in Alliston, Newmarket, 26 in Toronto. It's going to feel just below 30 degrees there as well. For the almanac today, we did reach a high of about 24.1 degrees, slightly below the normal, and the low 7.3. It was cold this morning if you are an early riser taking the pup out for a walk. You needed a jacket out there. Records 34.5 degrees back in 2011 and 3.3 in 1955. Sunrise tomorrow 5:54 a.m. with the sunset being at 8:55. So the days, yes, are slowly getting a little bit lower. Let's go take a look at the forecast. We teased about the rain. There's going to be a risk of a thunderstorm out there as well for tomorrow, and you can see that right on your radar. Localized amounts anywhere from 10 to 15 millimeters of rain as well. Overnight, you will see a low of about 18 degrees. You're seeing that risk of a thunderstorm as well with that rain really right through the region. And that risk of a thunderstorm will carry us into tomorrow morning, where we are going to see fairly similar temperatures. That rain and risk of thunderstorm will continue. You're seeing highs of around 22 degrees in Penetangwisheen and Midland, as well as 23 in Orillia, Wasaga Beach, Collingwood, Barrie, 24 in Owen Sound. Meanwhile, in York region, overnight lows of 18. We're going to not see some rain for the most part there. You could see some showers in Orangeville with a low of 17. The rest of the region seeing about 18, partly cloudy conditions, but you could see that rain make an appearance tomorrow with that risk of a thunderstorm. You're seeing 24 degrees in Georgina, Keswick, Bradford, Newmarket, as well as Richmond Hill, 23 in Orangeville. Further north we go, lows of 17 degrees in Huntsville, Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, 18 in Parry Sound, 14 in Haliburton. The risk of a thunderstorm as well tonight. Carrying over into tomorrow, that thunderstorm, the risk of a thunderstorm, does exist still with that rain. Like we said, localized amounts anywhere between 10 and 15 millimeters. So heading out to work, make sure you bring that umbrella. You will thank us later. It's time now for a look at our 5-day forecast. Of course, that is brought to you by Diamond and Diamond Lawyers. Taking a look in Simcoe County. Well, about 36 hours worth of rain on the way. It's going to clear by Wednesday afternoon. You could see partly sunny conditions after that, but take a look at the temperatures. It is going to be a little bit colder out there. 20 degrees. Yes, you're reading that right. Before the sun does return for Thursday and into the weekend, where those temperatures do remain, 26 degrees for Friday and Saturday. So yes, the warm-up will continue, where we're just getting started with those summer-like temperatures. In York region, the rain will continue into Wednesday as well, with a high of 22 degrees. Before that, sun does return Thursday and Friday, as well as Saturday, as well as those temperatures. You're seeing 26 degrees there, but that low 12 on Thursday could be problematic for some people. Taking a look at Muskoka, Parry Sound, Haliburton. Yes, the rain. Risk of a thunderstorm tomorrow, like we said, localized amounts up to 15 millimeters, but the sun does come out by Wednesday afternoon. And you're really not going to see any changes from Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday. You are seeing those highs of 25 and 26 degrees, Jack. So not to worry. It's a little bit cooler out, but those summer-like temperatures that we've been used to for the last 2 weeks will be returning by Thursday.
All right, thank you, Luke. CTV's Luke Smart on the waterfront there. Now, Donald Trump continues to blame what he calls forest mismanagement for smoke wafting from Canada into the U.S. CTV's Heather Wright gives us a reality check on policy and prevention in the north.
Nearly 1,000 wildfires are burning across Canada right now, most of them caused by lightning, and many considered out of control.
These fires are so intense that you almost can't fight them. You almost have to move people away from the fire zone, and even water bombers can't do it. It's almost you need weather. I mean, weather caused many of them, and weather has to put them out.
And while fires are part of the natural ecosystem in northern Canada, climate change means summers are warmer, the vegetation is drier, making fires more extreme.
We have had bad fire seasons in the past, but we have bad fire seasons more often now because of climate change. That's quite obvious.
This year is already rivaling 2023, the most destructive fire season in Canadian history. Thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes, and air quality has been impacted in major cities across North America. But forestry professor David Martel refutes claims that these fires are caused by forest mismanagement.
There's no truth whatsoever to those. We know how to manage forests and we know how to manage fire. But however, we cannot extinguish every fire that occurs, and sometimes these agencies get overwhelmed.
Experts say the biggest contributing factor to intensifying forest fires is climate change, but there are things communities can do to protect themselves. That could include constructing fire breaks, clearing debris along the perimeter of town, and building homes with fire-safe material. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, back to our region now. A Royal Victoria Regional Health Centre held its annual Cornhole Classic on Saturday at the Lefroy Community Centre. More than 130 people took part in the round-robin tournament, with Team Honda Canada coming out on top. The event raised $100,000 for the RVH Keep Life Wild campaign to help support the hospital's growth at its Barrie campus and expanding healthcare across the region. Flags raised across cottage country for Muskoka Pride Week. More than half a dozen ceremonies across the district today. Muskoka Pride Week features week-long activities beginning yesterday in Gravenhurst, Bracebridge and Huntsville. The events this week include a queer film festival, comedy show and mini putt tournament. The festivities wrap up this weekend with Pride Parade on Sunday in Bracebridge. Still to come, inflation slows, but it may be short-lived. The cost of staples continues to rise. Plus, we'll recap tonight's top stories. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Pure Country 106. Central Ontario's home for the best country music. Listen to Pure Country 106 on the free iHeartRadio app.
Recapping our top stories, a grim start to National Drowning Prevention Week. A man drowns in the Muskoka over the weekend. Local life-saving societies are reminding you to wear a life jacket. In 90% of drownings among boaters, the victim isn't. Mackenzie Gill told a Newmarket courtroom today she feared for her life when she stabbed her ex-boyfriend Blake Bibby in his apartment 2 years ago. She says she was trying to leave when he attacked her. She grabbed a knife from the kitchen and swung it at him. He died from the wound. 13 communities have been forced to evacuate fleeing wildfires in the Northwest. 1,800 people out of their homes as 200 fires burn. Nearly 60 of them are out of control, and about 100 of those people are now in Barrie, waiting out the flames. Now, inflation has slowed in June to 2.8 year over year. Although that slowdown may be short-lived, it was driven by a slower rate of gas price increases, but the cost of staples is still rising. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin gives us the numbers.
The shopping list of price increases for grocery staples in June includes fresh and frozen chicken up 5.7% compared to May, and bread rolls and buns cost 6% more. Overall, the price tag to feed a family continues to rise, June marking the 17th consecutive month that the inflation in grocery prices outpaced the all-item consumer price index.
Over the last 5 years, prices have increased 20%. Grocery prices have increased 30%.
In June, the price of fresh fruits like grapes helped lessen the gap, and the large increases of the cost of tomatoes of the last year and a half have slowed. Still, one that cost $1.20 then now costs $1.80. And there could be a wild card for upcoming fruit and vegetable prices. And that's whether wildfire smoke impacts crops.
For tomatoes, they will be forming and growing, and that could make for smaller tomatoes or fewer tomatoes. So we don't know. It's very difficult to measure.
Now, that higher price tag has widespread implications. It may be midsummer, but back-to-school shopping is already on.
It was about $130 and I'm not done.
Aid groups say families struggling to fill grocery baskets have little left to fill backpacks.
When you have to choose between paying your bills, between paying your rent, or with feeding your family, you know, school supplies down the list.
And while the cost of grocery baskets were up 3.9% in June, the overall inflation slowed to 2.8%, in large part driven by gas prices. In June, there were diplomatic talks and an interim ceasefire that was announced in the conflict in Iran. Renewed tensions have already seen prices at the pump rise this month. And the cost of travel-related services also went up, particularly in Toronto and Vancouver, World Cup host cities, where hotel room costs rose. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Beginning today, some families will see a 2% bump in their federal child benefit for eligible parents with kids under 6 years old. That's about $160 a year. For those with kids between 6 and 17, it comes out to $135 more each year. Roughly 3.5 million Canadians will see their payments go up as the Canada Child Benefit is adjusted for inflation. In business news, Canadian workers at the Ford Motor Company have given their stamp of approval to a new 3-year contract. The collective agreement covering more than 5,000 employees has been ratified. Unifor announcing some details last night, including a general wage boost of 9% over the length of the deal. That's 3 a year, as well as signing bonuses, pension and benefit improvements, and investments at Canadian facilities. The new contract takes effect in September and will be used as a basis for the union's negotiations with Stellantis and General Motors. Turning to our markets, the TSX was down 303 points, the Dow down 307, the Nasdaq down 12. In commodities, oil was up 70 cents, closing at $82.48 a barrel. Gold was down almost $3, finishing at $4,016 an ounce. And our dollar was down 21 cents, ending the day at $71.15 US. The FIFA World Cup has come to a close with Spain taking their place as champion after beating Argentina. Ferran Torres scored for Spain in extra time to secure a 1-0 victory. Spain dominated the game, with Argentina not getting a shot until extra time.
The champions of the world are Spain!
This is Spain's second World Cup title, following a victory in 2010. The country also holds the Women's World Cup title and European Championship. Argentinian captain Lionel Messi was emotional following the game, although the 39-year-old has not said if this will be his final World Cup appearance. Preparations continue for Ontario Honda dealers Indy in Markham as crews work to install cement barriers and fencing near the Unionville GO station. The CTV News chopper in the air over the area this morning. The access road east of the station is closed from 9 to 6 tomorrow morning. Metrolink saying YMCA Boulevard will be open for access to the parking lot and station. The Ontario Honda dealers Indy at Markham runs from August 14th to 16th. And wedding bells are ringing for one of the country's most successful golfers. Brooke Henderson has announced her engagement. The 28-year-old from Smith Falls, Ontario. Smith Falls, Ontario will tie the knot with Minnesota Twins pitching prospect Ricky Castro. The couple calls it the beginning of forever. And they say they're beyond excited and blessed to announce the news. The couple started dating in March of last year after meeting in Naples, Florida, where the world number 13 golfer has a home. Henderson has 14 LPGA wins, including 2 major titles. On the diamond, the Barrie Baycats played their first game in more than a week yesterday, but they had some rough outings against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wind up in the pitch, runners go. That one's lined to second and just past a diving Clayton Keys. One run is in, another one in.
The Leafs scored 6 runs in the 4th inning, defeated Barrie 12-8. Between the All-Star break and 2 postponed games due to poor air quality, the Baycats have been off for 10 days. Their next game is Thursday when they host the Brantford Red Sox at Athletic Culture Stadium. The Blue Jays sit 4.5 games back of the wildcard spot as they host the Tampa Bay Rays tonight.
This one lifted deep right field. It is carrying, and it will go.
The White Sox took a 3-0 lead in the 6th inning yesterday afternoon, and that'd be the final score. The Jays unable to mount any offense. The All-Star starter, Dylan Cease, will get the ball for Toronto tonight with first pitch against Tampa sent for just after 7 at Rogers Centre. The Jays have confirmed a former pitcher, Dwayne Ward, has died of natural causes. The team announced Ward arrived in the city Friday ahead of the team's ceremony honoring its 1992 and 93 championship teams, but he was absent from Saturday's festivities at Rogers Centre. Ward spent 10 seasons in Toronto from 1986 to 95, appearing in more than 450 games, and his 121 career saves are the second most in franchise history. He was a key contributor to the team's back-to-back World Series championships in 92 and 93. Still to come, it's berry season in southern Ontario. We'll take you to an Ottawa farm that's seeing visitors from around the province. Stay with us. You're watching CTV News Barrie. Taking a look at your primetime lineup for tonight at 8 o'clock, a 2-hour block of Suits. At 10 o'clock, Criminal Minds and CTV News at 11. Blueberry bushes blooming across Ontario and people making trips to get their hands on the sweet treat. CTV's Camille Wilson has more on an Ottawa area farm taking full advantage of a bumper crop.
For siblings Michael and Terilyn Herrick, blueberry picking is one of their favorite activities.
That's kind of our tradition. We always kind of meet up here every summer.
We like to take full advantage to see each other whenever we can.
Michael traveling from Ottawa with his family to meet his sister in Pembroke.
We did stuff like this when we were younger.
Blueberry season is off and running at Hughley's Blueberry Ranch for their 48th season.
It's different than just going to the grocery store. Like, you actually get to pick which ones you want, and it's a good little experience.
But with some wild weather leading up to the season, there were fears this blueberry crop could be underwhelming.
We were concerned with it being such a dry fall and a hard winter, but things are looking good, and the rains we've been having have been coming at just the right times, and so the berries are nice and big, and the sun and that heat we had has made them nice and sweet, so it's really good picking right now.
Pick your own blueberries at $9.50 a kilo, and already picked starting at $9.95. The blueberry season runs up until early September with 18 different varieties of blueberries here to pick from. Nice and sweet. And nothing beats testing as you go or the delicious delights after.
We make pies and blueberry cheesecake instead of, because it's not as sweet if you make them with the blueberries.
Blueberry products produced at the ranch, including jams, syrups, juice, and much more.
That's the main reason why I was also coming here, but they have a really good bakery.
And for the Herrick family, this event is unique.
It's kind of different from pumpkins or apples or strawberries, so it's kind of enjoyable. It's like one of a kind.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
Time now for Get Up and Go. Luke, what are we looking at?
Jack, if you're getting up and going tomorrow morning, well, make sure you have an umbrella. We're going to be seeing about 18 degrees in Barrie and Gravenhurst with the risk of a thunderstorm and some rain. And, of course, 18 in Newmarket with some clouds. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Luke. That's our newscast for tonight. I'm Jack Morrison. Thank you for watching. I will be back on the desk with your news at 11. Until then, good night.